What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Just Making It TV and I'm back with another one, man. So today we're gonna be talking about Paul Wall having to do a rated R verse for the legendary Jill Scott. Now if you know Jill Scott, that's the Why Did I Get Married 1 and 2 girl. That's the big thick one. That's the one that was just so big and voluptuous. Listen, I ain't gonna get into all that. Listen, if you like big girls, you know, okay? But apparently she needed Paul Wall, okay, the legend from the South. Listen, the real king of the South, Paul Wall, to write a rated R verse for her. Okay, now we're gonna break this down and get into it, man. And it's just funny that out of all the people to do a verse for her, she got Paul Wall. And listen, look, if you know, you know. Listen, the sisters love them some Paul Wall. Listen, I've been with a couple of, a few sisters. Listen, they just melt every time. Okay, listen, that's how I got the draws in the first place. But right now we're gonna break this down and hear what Paul Wall got to say about his verse that he did for Miss Jill Scott with her fine ass. All right, look, this is Just Making It TV. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, share, and subscribe this.
And you also made a comment about how you blew it the first time you could have collaborated.
Me and Jill Scott, man, I can't even remember how I met her. She's somebody I met through a friend. I can't exactly remember who it was, but man, thank you, whoever that was. She's somebody who's connected to the universe on another level, man. She's such a powerful person to meet. And I don't mean like she's the CEO or the boss. She's that kind of powerful too. I just mean like she commands that type of energy and that power with everything.
Look now, if you know Just Scott and you know that BBW right there, she make moves, power moves. Okay, and this is before Ice Spice and the fucking what's that other girl, fucking Lizzo and all that. This is before that. Okay, so she was making big boss moves before that. So listen, Paul Wall over here dropping gems and dropping dimes for us straight up.
Things she says, does, her thoughts, her words. It's man, she's very intentional with her life on this earth. Is man, she was here for a reason. So man, thank you for whoever introduced us. But she reached out to me one time when I was on tour, when my album came out. You know, when I was busy, when I was.
That's that People's Champ album, man. Listen, a legendary album. All right, look. We got some bangers on there. I don't even know right off the top of my head. I know we had that old girl song on there. I think Still Sipping was on there. Still Tipping was on there. That was on there. Listen, like I said, just a legendary album for y'all. Gen Z and younger, listen, y'all go over there and check that out. Listen, check out the PG version. I ain't if you can't listen to it.
Almost too busy.
Friday is company karaoke, 90s pop theme. Well,
to do grills. Almost too busy. We found a way to make it work, but I was busy, so that's when it was. And I was on tour, and it was the Honda Civic tour. I was on tour with Fall Out Boy. It was a big tour. We was on a big old tour. And Plus 44, Cobra Starship. I don't know, but it was a non-rap tour, but it was a big tour. But I'm on this tour. I'm on a tour bus. She says that she has a song she wants me to get on. Now, also keep in mind, this is not 2025. We're talking about 2005. You know,
Man, 20 fucking years ago. That's crazy. All right, listen, he's just telling us straight history right here. Listen, I didn't even know any of this right here. So this is just crazy news. It's crazy. We don't even see Paul Wall doing too many interviews. Just barely got on the interview circuit.
you know, so there's not like to record on your phone is possible now. And it will sound quality. The engineer, as long as the engineer knows what he's doing, he can have that sound just as crisp as if I was in a $1 million studio. Or maybe not just, but in the same realm. You know, but back in those days, it was a little different. You know, the mobile studios on the buses and all of that, they weren't ideal. There weren't that many of them, and if there was, they either was an arm and a leg to use, or the quality wasn't really all there, or you also had to pay all these high-end engineers to have a special driver to drive the bus, or all kind of special insurance for it. So it's like, man, all that. Anyway, I'm on tour on a tour bus. Jill Scott sends me a song to jump on, I do it on my little studio, which is, yeah, it work if you're doing a freestyle. If I'm doing a freestyle on somebody else's beat, and then we're gonna slow down the tempo and screw it down, chop it up later, like, yeah, it worked. But if you're recording for Jill Scott, who's somebody who's an operatic singer, she's like, her singing ability is unmatched. Her vocal ability is, can't nobody match her. So it's for, they ain't gonna put my vocals where I recorded it on the microphone, holding it with a t-shirt over it like I did Still Tipping. They're not gonna do that for a Jill Scott song. And that's kind of what I gave her. So she asked me to get on the song. I did the song. And I just did a verse, sent it back to her, and she was very delicate, but she was like, man, it's just something about it. This ain't it. It don't sound right. It don't sound right. And I was like, all right, well, she was like, well, can you try it again? I said, yeah, I'll try it again. And I go lay it again at a different bus studio, you know, something like that. Or maybe I recorded it in my hotel room instead of the bus this time. And she still was like, I don't know. It's not, I got a vision for.
Listen, artists feeding off of each other. I mean, she's trying to critique it and get it just right to what she needs. Now, if you know Jill Scott, I didn't really see it in none of her music when I listened to any of it growing up or whatnot, or my sisters, anybody listening to it. But I guess she real freaky. She's looking for a certain type of thing, and only Paul Wall could do it. Now, look, I mean, hey, it's the man right here, so I'm pretty sure he was able to get her what he needed. But I mean, him doing the setup or him doing the freestyle in his truck going from state to state is kind of a trip, or a hotel room is kind of a trip, you know. You want to get it perfect for the queen, you know.
I wanted to sound, and it just don't sound like that. And I'm like, I'm just grateful I had the opportunity to even try with Jill Scott. I'm just happy for that. But you know,
boy, we'd all be happy to try that shit with Jill Scott. Okay, listen, we all want to drop a verse, all right?
oh
man.
It was like a disappointment because it's like, damn, I could have been on Jill Scott album. My aunties listen to Jill Scott. My mama listened to Jill Scott. You know, like that would have. My pastor wife listened to Jill Scott. That'd have been big for me personally. Like huge for my career, but big for me personally as well. So it was like, damn, man. But what could have been? You know, we always were friends after that. You know, we were friends before that. So you know, I moved out to LA for 2 years actually when I was working on an album, and she lived not too far, so we, you know, her and my wife were friends. We were friends, we family friends, so we see each other all the time here and there. One time, she reached out to me out the blue, was like, "What you doing?" And I happened to be in the studio with Kurt Cobain at the time, recording a verse for his mixtape that he did, his initial first mixtape he dropped, and it was in L.A. We were out there. He was my boy Joey IE was like, I signed this new artist out of Houston. His name's Kurt Cobain. Man, would you come to the studio? Maybe come give him some advice, chop up game with him a little bit, maybe do a song. Yeah, I'll do that. Joey IE is the one who signed me to Asylum, to Warner Brothers Atlantic. So, you know, he mentored me a lot. He's the one who introduced me to Fat Joe, the one who introduced me to Dipset, the one who introduced me to.
Paul Wall's career has been actually really great. He's come in contact with a lot of different celebs. You know, he's been a part of a lot of different things. WWE contracts. He did a song with Brooke Hogan. That was like back in '06. Paul Wall's a legend in this rap game. Listen, don't let the skin complexion fool you. The man's got some history behind him. He's got some weight. He's legit. Straight up, for all you non-Paul Wall fans out there, y'all might want to look him up. Old school, but listen, it's worth it. Definitely. You want to hear some chopped up Texas style music, like Texas style barbecue type of shit. Listen, Big X the Plug got his little flow, his whole little from this man. Him and Mike Jones. Listen, this is as quiet as it's kept. You know, I'm pretty sure Paul Wall and Mike Jones got a little bit of beef going on, but you know what? Straight up, they were on the same tier, top tier, around the same time they came out.
DJ Khaled, a lot of people, you know, a lot of opportunities that came my way because of Joey IE just introducing me to people, you know. So I felt like, damn, you doing it. Hell yeah, I'm gonna come. You got an artist, your new artist. This is like the same thing you did for me with Dipset, but now I'm the Dipset, and Kurt Cobain's is the power walk. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'll come do that. And we over there in the studio, we do it. When we done, me and Joey I.E., we just chopping up game, we just chilling. And he's like, what you got going on? And all of a sudden my phone ring. And it's Jill Scott. And she's like, and he see. And he's like, damn, Jill Scott calling? You know Jill Scott? I didn't even know you even know her. And I'm like, yeah, that's my girl. Of course I know Jill. Everybody know Jill. But and so I talked to her and she like, hey, all right, look, I'm over here in the studio. Are you busy? Man, I got writer's block. Can you come over here and help me out with something? I got an idea, but I need your help. And I don't know what she got going on. She said she got writer's block. So I don't know. I'm a good wordsmith. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe she want to bounce ideas off of me or me.
These were too weirdly shaped or odd to make the cut in a regular pack of bacon, but
not like I'm gonna write a song for her or something like that, but maybe she just wanted some inspiration. Maybe I thought she was gonna ask me what I'm listening to. What are you listening to these days? What artists you like, or what songs of mine do you like, or some shit like that. Like I didn't think she was gonna ask me about anything that had to do with, creating music like together. So then I get there and she's like, man, I got this song. It need a verse. Man, would you be? And she almost like hesitant to ask me. And like, well, is there any way you can do it? Man, what do you mean? Of course, you Jill Scott. Of course, I'm gonna do anything you ask or tell. I'm gonna do what you tell me to do. Ain't no ask, whatever you tell me. So I'm like, hell yeah. But that's just how she is, man. She's just such a humongous amount of energy and positivity that, it is. That's just how she is. And she's like, all right, well, whatever. She tell me about the song, and in my mind, it's Jill Scott. Somebody who's, got a vocal range out of this world. Somebody who sounds and is amazing. She is amazing. She also isn't vulgar at all. Or for the most part, I know the earlier Jill Scott, she wasn't very vulgar at all. It's let's take a walk. Songs like that. All the songs where they were the neo soul wasn't vulgar at all. Any of the neo soul music back then wasn't vulgar. It wasn't. If it was sexual, it was all innuendo, encoded talk. It wasn't like, I'm gonna f you and this and that, all that kind of language. So she asking me to get on the song. I'm like, all right, I'll do a verse, but the verse is very clean. The song isn't clean. The song is how you hear the song, but my verse is clean. Like it was as if I did a Kids Bop or a clean version for the song. Where she was like, hey, I got the song. But write a verse like the pastor wrote it. That's how I did my verse. Where I was like, I wasn't talking about nothing sexual on there because I was scared to. I didn't know how to. And she was like, man, the song, your verse is cool, but I'm gonna get you down. I'm gonna pull your hair. I want you to the shit out of me on your verse, and I want you to say stuff like that. And I'm like.
Just God want the passion. She want the passion, y'all. She want that pliers, fuck me the right way kind of thing. And Paul Wall didn't think he could do that. Paul Wall was gonna come up with something. Come on now.
Are you sure? Like, I don't know, because it just got. I ain't never heard nobody rap on speak. I never heard that language on a Jill Scott song. So I'm like, man, I don't know, man. The neo soul community might whoop my ass if I'm on here talking like that. You know what I'm saying? My mama might whoop my ass. My auntie, they gonna jump me if they hear me on a Jill Scott. My pastor wife might slap the shit out of me. She hear me talking vulgar on a Jill Scott song. So I'm like, man, what? She like, yeah, I want you to do. So I go in there, I change the verse a little bit. I say the line she say, whatever she say, and I put it in the verse. And then she's like, okay, that's getting there, but you're still like, you're being too sweet and nice with me. I want you to like the shit out of me on the verse. Like she's talking to me like that. And I'm like, all right, I want you to say, you gonna hit me with that diamond. That's what that diamond chip big do. Actually that was like the last thing she told me. But she kept telling me like lines she wanted me to say, which is the line. Jill Scott wrote my whole verse for the most part. She wrote my verse. She told me what to say. It basically was like a slot machine of words. And she would say, all right, cherry, $, cherry. And I go in there and be like, Cherry, dollar sign, Cherry. And she'd be like, nah, that ain't it. Cherry, Cherry, dollar sign. And I'd say, Cherry, Cherry, dollar sign. And she'd like, nah, that ain't it. Say, Cherry, Cherry, Cherry. Then I go in there and say, Cherry, Cherry, Cherry. And yeah, that's it. That's how I got moved. So she basically wrote my whole verse, you know. And the last thing she said was, I want you to say, it might sound crazy, but I want you to say, that's what a diamond chip dick do. And I was like, all right, it Paul Wall, that sounds perfect. It's
A diamond chip dick. That's crazy. Has anybody ever heard about that? I ain't never heard about no shit like that. A diamond chip dick. Listen, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think of that. This shit's crazy, ain't it?
sound like it would match because the diamond chip dick. All right, that's sound like it would be what's up. And later on, she told me that the song was inspired by real life events. You know, she was in a sexual relationship with somebody where it was just sexual, but she couldn't leave, and they had they had her wrapped around them and it's under a spell, and just because their dick gang was so strong that she couldn't leave. She knew they were bad for her. She knew they weren't the one for her, but she just can't say no to her mind's telling her no, but her body's saying yes, and she just can't say no. So it was so that's why she wanted me to be this character, which is an actual person. Now it all makes sense now because later on I found out I got some homeboys in jail that have told me some stories about in jail something they do to their dick, where they get a domino or a diamond, an actual diamond. That's what a diamond chip dick is. I'm about to tell you, but they don't always get diamonds. Sometimes they'll get a domino. They'll file it down to a small little shard, or not even a piece of gravel will look like, but it's a domino. But actually shard is the wrong word, because shard is like it's gonna point you and poke you, but it's like a little piece of pebble of a rock. And they would do some shit where they cut off the tip of their dick just so much, then they put the little domino or the diamond in there and sew it back, and it would heal up, and your dick got a little tough spot on it that when you it hit the clit or the girl in a certain area where they go fucking nuts. And anybody I know who've done this, and it's at least a handful, at least 5 people I know who've done this before, they swear to God by anybody it's like next level them, and some of them are like, man, I ain't got no big dick. This is like not to get like.
This is Just Making It TV. What y'all think about the Paul Wall rated R verse for Jill Scott? The story is crazy, personally, to me over here at Just Making It TV. This is just bonkers to me. But I mean, I really do think that there's some validity and there's some truth to what Paul Wall is talking about. Now, I ain't never experienced no shit like that or even heard about no shit like that personally, y'all. But I mean, look, this is the man's life. He's lived a very great and traumatic life, man. He's actually won. Paul Wall, y'all check out digital TV, man. The art of dialogue TV, man, and check him out. Listen, it's the Paul Wall interview and the reaction from Just Making It TV. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I got some more content coming for y'all this week. I got some more Whack 100 and Poetic Flacco content coming. I got another Vlad interview coming for y'all, so keep an eye out for that. So look, this is Just Making It TV. I'm out, y'all. Peace.